Yo, you see that nigga sweater vest? Oh shit! What the fuck? Nah, that's pretty fresh, dog.
I'm a white ass nigga going hard in these streets, going non-stop like it's smoke alarm beats. All of you niggas gon' be shit out of luck when these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. I speak perfect English without any accent. I can read and write unlike half of these black kids. Yeah, white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant represent. Woo. I can say the word nigga cause nigga we invented it. We got science, medicine, and technology. Every nigga wants to live in my colony. So don't you lecture me with that equality shit. We're going hard as fuck with no apologies, bitch. I'm a white ass nigga going hard in these streets, going non-stop like you smoke alarm beats. All of you niggas gon' be shit out of luck when these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When it comes to work, you know I'm always on time. Hey. You never catch me late or see me cutting in line. Oh, hey. All my neighbors love me cause I'm such a nice guy. Hey, hey. And I never take advice from a bunch of rabbis. Hey. No, I can't spend a lot of time in the sun, but I always find time to spend with my son. And I still call my dad at least once a week just to let him know I'm going hard in these streets. I'm a white ass nigga going hard in these streets, going non-stop like it's smoke alarm beeps. All of you niggas gon' be shit out of luck when these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. 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 I don't let nobody tell me what to do. No, I ain't listening to any whiny Jews. No niggas gonna tell me not to love my own race, and we're gonna put women back in their fucking place. All my niggas really fucking love being white, and we're never gonna say sorry for being right. And when whites are allowed to unite, good luck, cause these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. I'm a white ass nigga going hard in these streets, going non-stop like it's smoke alarm beeps. All of you niggas gon' be shit out of luck when these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck. When these white ass niggas go hard as fuck.
Yo. All right. I'm early. No, I'm not lit. That's what it sounds like in Iran right now. Good day. Good day, mates. The dingo ate your baby. James D. What's up? Guys, it's Monday night. We're kicking the week off right. I was a little late. A little late. I was a little late. I had to get my coffee. What do we got today? It's Monday. This is the Dreaded Conservative Show, Monday night, every week. This is episode 200. We're on episode 200. That's 200 with a 2 and 100 on it. 200th episode. I'm not really planning on anything special tonight. But, you know, we're here. Here for another 200 of them. What are we talking about today? All the Israel stuff. The news is crazy lately. Yeah, it's wild. All the Iran stuff. Thank you, sir. All the new Ayatollah announced. We're going to talk about the message that went out that this is like a holy war that's going to bring about the rapture. Kind of interesting, kind of wild. That's, you know, kind of out there. And then also, I don't know if I have it in rapid fire or I have it in this. It should be. Wonder if I put this in rapid fire. Where is it? The story of these two freaking little junior terrorists. I have it in rapid fire. It should be in the main story stuff. Yeah, we'll just divide it up a little bit. We'll put it in the later on in the show. But these kids, I heard about this because I heard that they threw it at Jake Lang, but I guess they threw one at Zoran Mandani's house also. I don't even know if Jake Lang was the target. Maybe it was, but they had two explosives and they threw them into crowds. And I guess they threw one at, and neither of them detonated. That's how dumb these people are. They can't even get that right. People who claim they know when the end time is happening is wild. I agree. Yeah, we'll talk all about that stuff. That's not. What is this? Anyway, so lots of Iran stuff. And then also, CHRISTI NOEM is out of the DHS. I don't know if it has anything to do with her putting a master bedroom in the jets that are being used to deport people. She put like a master bedroom in one of them and got questioned about it. I have the video. She got questioned about it in Congress, I think, at a hearing. And she's like, But they said pretty much she put like a nice ass furnished bedroom in one of the planes. And she says it's for the families. And they're like, why do they need all this stuff? And she didn't really have a good answer. But anyway, she's out of the DHS. She looks all right, but still, I don't like women politicians. So I'm fine with that. They actually are saying that because she's ousted from the DHS, now the DHS might reopen. Because it's currently all been shuttered due to this partial government shutdown. Because they want to take masks off the ICE people. But they might come to a compromise if CHRISTI NOEM gets out. So we'll see. I don't know who. Dude, as much as I don't like the saying that this war is the end times, I think Pete Hegseth is kind of based. Like, it is kind of crazy what he was saying, but to be like, this is a holy war. It's a crusade. We're going on a crusade to Iran. Well, that's kind of based. I'm not going to be one of these guys that just totally turn on Trump and hate everything he does now because Israel. That's the answer. That's the justification. Because Israel. We hate Israel, therefore Trump is doing a horrible job. Nah. I don't dislike Israel any more than I dislike everybody. So I like everybody. I dislike everybody equally. But anyway, let's get started. We're going to start with, and I had to proof watch everything to make sure. I don't know if I can even show this video of these kids later on in the show. I'll try. We'll see what happens, but YouTube's being sensitive, so I got to be careful what I say. Deport at a higher level, if anything. Yes. Hey, thank you, Emmett. Emmett, I was making fun of you for your gothic makeup the other night, so if anybody says JS was talking smack about you, you can tell them I said it to you. It's not like it was a secret. I wasn't being super mean. I was just saying, what is he wearing? What is this makeup he's wearing? You're crazy, dude. That's wild. Anyway, is that a tuberculosis hat? I guess it could be. TB, tuberculosis hat? You're so stupid. What the heck? Anyway, Mujtaba Khomeini. Ayatollah, new Ayatollah. It's the son of the old Ayatollah. Shocker. They just put his son in. He is the new Iran supreme leader. Mujtaba Khomeini. The son of the previous Ayatollah Khomeini. President, this is from NBC News. The not based crap news. I just made that up. You're crazy, dude. Dude, you look like that one guy. I think that guy's a grifter. I don't know how people watch that guy. That freaking guy that just what's the word where somebody's like what's it called? Industry plant. Industry plant. Dude, you gotta be an industry plant if just all of a sudden you're everywhere. And you're like some gothic guy talking about conservative politics and stuff. Like, that's an industry plant. That's an op. That's grifting. No, I don't believe it. I'm not gonna fall for it. You can fall for it. I'm not falling for it. What's that guy's name? Jake. Yeah, Jake something. He is kind of a flag. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not falling for it. Not Lex Friedman. Holy crap. What are you talking about, Rowdy? Okay, let's read not based crap news. A statement from the Assembly of Experts. The Assembly of Experts. This is how we make... Guys, we need to make sure that our assembly sounds really official. Like we really know our stuff. We know what we're talking about. What are you doing streaming at this hour? The same thing I've done every Monday night for almost 4 years now, Avarice. The same thing I've been doing for the last 200 weeks. Every Monday night, same time, same place, always, for 200 weeks now. What are you talking about? Holy moly ravioli. How do we make our assembly sound the most official that we can possibly sound it? What should we call our assembly? I got an idea. We'll call them the Assembly of Experts. Then everybody will know that we are experts. That's what we'll do. The Assembly of Experts, a panel of Shia clerics responsible under Iranian law for choosing the country's top leader, said Mujtaba Khomeini had been selected as the third leader of the Islamic Republic. Is only the third leader? They ain't been around that long? According to reports from IRIB, IRIB. Rib is a woman. State TV and the Fars, Tasneem, and ISNA news agencies. Mujtaba Khomeini, 56 years old, second son of Ayatollah Ali Khomeini, is widely viewed as a hardline figure with close ties to the powerful Revolutionary Guard. Israel has already described him as a potential target, while President Trump had called him unacceptable, not going to work. He'll be gone soon. How many sons do you have, Ayatollah Khomeini? Not many. What's the Bible talk about? Making sure that their seed doesn't prosper. You don't just take out the leader. You take out every man, woman, child, animal, and you make sure their seed doesn't prosper. Their seed can't grow for the next 20 generations. We're about to get biblical. The younger Khomeini had been considered a potential leader prior to the American-Israeli attack that killed his father, though the idea was not universally popular given the 1979 toppling of the U.S.-backed hereditary monarchy of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Semi-official Mehr news agency confirmed last week that Khomeini's son was alive and well after the deadly strikes launched by the U.S. and Israel that killed his Faja. You killed my Faja! His wife and other family members. Dang. He has not been heard from since the start of the conflict. Politician and cleric, he is known to hold significant influence among regime administrators in the Revolutionary Guard, the paramilitary force leading Iran's retaliatory campaign. But he lacks the religious credentials of his father to lead a clerical regime, which claims to represent God's will on earth. His father became supreme leader in 1989, and soon, you know what? I don't even disagree with Hegseth or whoever's in the military saying this is a holy war. You know, it is about oil, but it is also about ideologies, and certain people just, you can't work with them. You can't work with them. They don't even know how to make explosives correctly. You know, those kids are going to get charged for federal terrorism crimes. They could potentially be executed. And they didn't even, their freaking things didn't even work. I don't want to say the words. You know, it's not that I'm at a lack of words here. It's that I don't want to say certain words. Does he want to be a Mari? Might be. We'll give you a contradiction. Trump told Axios last week that the choice would be unacceptable and suggested he wanted to handpick a new supreme leader, a process usually overseen by Iran's clerics. Nope, I'm picking the leader. We're going to make Hegseth the leader of Iran. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I just read an article right as I was starting the show up. Trump is saying almost all of our objectives are complete. So we'll see. You know, hopefully it's not another forever war. But like I said before, the reason we call it a forever war is because it's forever. So you can't just blame Trump that, oh, Trump got us in another forever war. What do you mean? It was a forever war 20 years ago. It was a forever war 10 years ago. Forever means it's forever. So, of course, we're going to be in the forever war. Forever. Why am I not in Discord? Because I'm in the middle of a show, Avarice. That's why. Duh. If you knew anything about my YouTube channel, you would know how Monday nights work. Holy moly. What's BBC saying? Invest in Puerto Rico? What is this? Explore Puerto Rico. This is not the article that, oh, it's an ad. Invest in Puerto Rico? No. I can't even invest in myself. How am I going to invest in Puerto Rico? What in the world? Who is... Oh, BBC's not giving me free articles anymore. They're trying to make me pay. This is ridiculous. I can't pay it. Whatever. BBC's not going to tell me much more than NBC. Anissa Basiri Tabrisi, an associate fellow in the Middle East and North Africa program at the London-based think tank Chatham House, said before the appointment that the signal that such a nomination will give is that nothing will change. Despite what little support there might be for Iran's new supreme leader without regime change in Iran, leaders would presumably maintain the same iron grip on control through the institutions of power, Ali said. The Assembly of Experts last convened to select a new leader in 1989 when it chose the elder Khomeini. The new leader is required to be a man and an Islamic cleric under Iranian law. Semi-based? Kinda? You know, you have to be... Imagine if America had a law that said the president had to be a man and had to be a Christian. I think that was based. You know that the founding fathers wanted to put in the Constitution that you had to be a Christian to run for president, but they left it out because they said, no, it's redundant. We're not going to... It's not necessary to put that in there. Of course our president's going to be a Christian. Duh. So they left it out. What? What are you doing? Holy crap. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my gosh. BBC's not going to let me read this. Let's see what CNN is saying. Here, I'll pull it up. I'm just scared to pull up the articles because God forbid somebody's holding a pew-pew in a picture on the news. By the way, disclaimer, everything here is education, news coverage with a little bit of satire and entertainment thrown in. Okay, YouTube? We're all learning. We're being educated. I'm educating myself. We got to get educated. That's the most dangerous thing in America is that we're not educated enough. We have to be more educated. So we're educating, I'm doing news coverage, and there's some satire and entertainment thrown in there to boot, okay? So anything that gets shown is all for the purpose of news coverage. So we're on CNN. All right? There's the disclaimer. Let's take this off studio mode and go right here. What do we got? Also, guys, it's episode 200. Everybody's been here's the grift. I suck at grifting. You guys should appreciate that I suck at grifting because I'm never gonna, make something boring happen until I get paid enough money. Never gonna do that. All right, you should appreciate that. I need that money though, and I need more subscribers. YouTube's throttling me like a mug. We were growing, and now we're slowing. I don't know what's going on. It always happens. This is like the 10th time this has happened. It's not my first rodeo. Yeah, he would know that if he knew anything about the dang show. It's episode 200, and he doesn't even know how it works. What's CNN talking about? Trump says U.S. has won, but we haven't won enough. We've won. The war's over. We've won. But it's not quite over because we haven't won enough. Hey. King's on like a pretty long time member. He's got the Super Saiyan God hair on his chair. Oh, wait, that was a gifted membership. F the Bees. F the Bees, 1776. Got a membership. Now we're going to hear Kanye a lot. Ghost 1978A. Thank you for the memberships, King. At a news conference, the U.S. president downplays the spike in oil prices and says the Iran war will eventually result in lower prices. Yeah, if we conquer Iran and get all their oil, yeah, of course it's going to result in lower oil prices. And I think it's funny. It's 100% increase in the price of oil for a barrel. We did get all the crude oil from Venezuela. We've got something like 80 billion gallons already. People are acting like we haven't got anything from Venezuela. You're wrong. We just got an 80 billion We got a 30 billion gallons the day it happened. And now we've got another 80 billion gallons. I think we're up to, and I don't know, gallons or barrels? I think it's barrels. I'm not sure on that. We looked it up before, but I can't remember. So we are getting oil from Venezuela. People say we can't process it. Yes, we could. Dude, I heard somebody say oil companies aren't excited about Venezuela. Bull crap. Did you see the roundtable Trump had where it was all the oil execs and they're like, yeah, we already have everything set up. We're ready to go. We can process the oil. They say we already got stuff set up in Venezuela. We've had it set up there for 100 years. And we still have it. It's just dilapidated and new. And Trump said, you're going to replace it with all the new stuff because the new stuff is good. I like the new stuff. They said, yep, we'll replace it all with new stuff. So we've already, people are acting like oil companies aren't going to go to Venezuela. What do you mean? We've been there we built Venezuela. What are you talking about? We're not going to go. Who said that? Whoever said that needs to get metaphysically internet slapped for being stupid. What do you mean we're not going to get the oil from Venezuela? We can't process it. Bullshit. What do you? Yes, we can. And yes, we will. And yes, we do. And yes, we have always. We built Venezuela with oil, shell. That's crazy. Anyway, so we are getting oil from Venezuela. When a war starts, oil prices go up. It's still nowhere near as high as it was 4 years ago under Biden, but people forget. People forget, man. People forget. People forget $7 eggs. People forget $5 a gallon for gas 4 years ago. Crazy. President Donald Trump gave conflicting answers today about his Iran war strategy. In an interview, he said the war is nearly over, but later told House Republicans that we haven't won enough. Downplays oil rise. In a news conference, Trump said the U.S. has struck over 5,000 targets, but the military is leaving some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. He also claimed the war would lead to lower oil prices over the long term. No room for diplomacy, a top Iranian official told CNN that Tehran is prepared for a long war and signaled that it is willing to continue attacking Persian Gulf countries. Of course it's prepared for a long war. It's a country built on holy war. Their whole ideology is built on war. Their prophet was a warlord. What do you think? It's a forever war. It's not a, what did people think? It's just under Democrat war? What do they think forever war means? 10 years? 20 years? No. It's forever. Duh. Stockpile. Meanwhile, recovering Iran's... It's in the Bible. They were fighting these wars in the Bible. They just weren't called Muslims back then. They were called Canaanites and Amalekites and Hittites and Jewites. Any heights. Tights and ites and... Yeah. It's forever. Stockpile. Meanwhile, recovering Iran's remaining highly enriched uranium stockpile that is believed to be in a storage facility deep underground would require a significant number of U.S. ground troops. 7 current and former officials told CNN. These are all like the live updates. Iran plans to impose duties on tankers and ships in the Persian Gulf. Senate Dems promise war powers votes if Hegseth and Rubio don't participate in public hearings. Several Senate Democrats have announced that they will continue to force war power votes aimed at requiring the president to seek congressional approval for action in Iran if Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio refuse to testify publicly before Congress. I don't think they can defend this war. I think they'll lose votes in the Senate if they actually go and have to go in front of the American public and explain why gas prices are so high. Dude, just looking at the gas prices yesterday, they're not, they've jumped up a little bit, but it's not like, and then I hear coworkers complaining, oh, Trump, it's Trump. Gas prices just skyrocketed. It's Trump. It's Trump. Bitch, 4 years ago, they were twice as much after the rise. What are you talking about? I didn't hear you saying, it's Biden. It's Biden. People just always love to complain. It's more of an all or nothing talking point, but not relevant for the amount of dirty oil we take from Venezuela. No, Chuck, they don't have to convert our current refineries. They have refineries already made to do this process. They said Biden had no control. Right. Yeah. Biden doesn't have no control, but it's all Trump's fault. Crazy. Here's some local news for me. I missed them. They had 2 rallies on 2 separate blocks. One was Iranians for Utah. One was Antifa-tards complaining, as like they do every weekend. But they were like separated by like 2 blocks, so I guess nothing crazy happened. I wish I had gone to it. Is there a video here? Let's see if our friend the face spitter is there. Last time there was a protest, she went with a gun on her hip. Let's see. It's not huge. Okay, so this is where I was at Washington Park. This is the
basic human rights.
The Iranians of Utah led the Stand with the People of Iran event in Salt Lake City.
Eliminating the Iranian.
See where he's standing right now is right where that chick spit in my face.
And the Islamic.
The gym that I go to is 1 block up. That's 4th and Main.
Regime in Iran.
See right there. Boom, right on that corner.
Iranians have been held as hostages by the Islamic regime for decades.
Showing support by standing for the ones they're thinking of.
The Iranians feel so desperate that they felt like this was needed. We've been waiting for this for.
Some of these Iranian chicks are kind of cute. But that smell like curry, boys.
40 years.
My support for our government's action in Iran. I think this really truly is a matter of freedom for those Iranians.
When do we want it?
Demonstrate that.
When do we want it?
Reject the war, and we really want other people to organize.
And then here's the
Blocks north, an anti-war protest.
So then here now this is at the federal building, which is near where that shooting happened. That shooting happened about 2 blocks up. This is the federal building in downtown. So they're literally 2 or 3 blocks away from the other protest.
People to the federal building downtown.
Demand that the United States stops its illegal war on Iran.
They said they're aiming to raise awareness.
Why aren't you wearing a burqa, woman? Look, Antifa wears their burqa. Put your burqa on if you're going to protest for Iran. Don't have your kifa or whatever, keffia or whatever they call it on your neck. Wrap that bitch around your face.
The United States is struggling with basic necessities like housing,
Terrorists.
the food crisis.
Look at that gay ass.
Overseas, the conditions are even worse because they are getting actual missiles
Commie Kangle.
blown onto them.
No matter where you stand.
We love USA!
They
Oh
say
my Lord. Do you see that sign? We love American service member. What? Come on. That's got to be fake. SRVISMEMMBER. This person went to school at the Leering Center. Oh my God. You know, I appreciate the patriotism and the love of America. You probably don't love us unless we're killing your leaders at home that you fled from. You know, if we end this war and I don't know, let's say we somehow democratize and make Iran safe again. Again, I don't know if it was ever safe, but we make Iran safe. Are you going back home? Can you go back home? Because you're illiterate. Your cousins might have produced you. SRVISMEMMBER. That's crazy. That almost looks fake to me. Like they just want. Come on, dude. That's what happens when you don't have spell check and you don't speak English and your IQ is under 80. Holy crap.
They say it's important to ask questions.
And spending the time to just like connect with people person to person. I think that's my message to my local community here.
In Salt Lake City, Avery Klanaski, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Yeah, so a little local news, both of them looked really small though. You'd think now that it's starting to warm up, the weather was great that day, that they would be gaining numbers, but both of these were very small protests. We have No Kings 3 coming up on March 28th. Those are always big ones, so that's on my list to get down there. But they're doing these every weekend, and now it's like 15 people show up. So, anyway, what else we got? Okay, video of B-1 bombers being deployed. This says graphic content. I've already pre-watched this video. There's nothing crazy going on here. It's just like trucks and stuff. It's not like you're seeing any people get hit. It's just cool to see our military force in action. And this is from New York Post. This is strictly for news coverage, not live. This is a video being shown, but it's kind of loud too. Let me cut the volume down. I just love our military forces, our power. Look at that thing. It's like a dang rocket ship. That's crazy. Isn't it crazy how like it doesn't melt the back of the plane? Whatever happened to the V-28 Osprey? They don't use that thing. That thing was cool. That was like 20 years ago. They showed that in Time magazine, and I thought that they would here, let me get this cowgirl advertisement off my thing. Unclassified. These are official unclassified videos. So I think it's pretty safe to say this is not AI. But they say, oh, let's not show that one because there are some people in that picture. Anyway, it just loops the video. But yeah, we got B-2 bombers and whatnot. See, here's that Puerto Rico ad again. They're trying to get me to donate to Puerto Rico. BBC is not going to let me read this. Crap. Torpedo Iranian warship was offered sanctuary in India. Let me find this from a different website because we're going to talk about this ship that got torpedoed. We haven't torpedoed a ship in a long time, and we torpedoed a ship out of existence. I can't do BBC. After sinking Iranian ship, did U.S. commit a war crime? Responsible statecraft. After sinking Iranian ship, did the U.S. Navy commit a war crime? Hegseth says rules of engagement are stupid, but leaving survivors to drown violates laws. Wait a second. In Venezuela, if we double tap the target to destroy the target, and the people in the water are swimming back to the target and they get hit in the process, that's a war crime. But if we just leave them in the water like we were told to do with the Venezuelans, that's also a war crime. That makes sense. That's one unanswered question that lingers after the announcement Wednesday morning that an as yet unidentified U.S. Navy submarine torpedoed an Iranian frigate that was far from its home port and had just taken part in a multinational exercise hosted by India. They're supposed to have free passage to India, and they were going to go store their ships at India. You know, the place where we hire all of our computer techs from and give them H-1B visas so they can come to America. Yeah, that place is giving free harbor to Iran. Fuck them. India, too. You want to get it? You can get it, India. War Secretary Pete Hegseth was exultant, underlying its historic significance. Yesterday in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play. You know, I don't think they call it the Indian Ocean anymore. You know, now there's 5 oceans. When I was a kid, there was 4 oceans. Now there's 5 oceans. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Indeed, the strike was lethal. Out of a crew of 180 seamen, giggity, 32 were rescued by the Sri Lankan Navy, which also recovered the bodies of 87 more. The Sri Lankans had received a distress call from the Iranian vessel, the IRIS Dina. Apparently, shortly after it had been hit by the torpedo, the frigate was 2,000 miles away from the ongoing U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran when it was struck and had just participated in India's multinational Milan 2026 naval exercises, in which the U.S. Navy was also represented. Article 18 of the Second Geneva Convention for the amelioration of the condition of wounded, sick, and shipwrecked members of armed forces at sea, which was adopted in 1949 and ratified by the U.S. Senate in 1995, states, after each engagement, parties to the conflict shall, without delay, take all possible measures to search for and collect the shipwrecked, wounded, and sick, to protect them against pillage and ill treatment, to ensure their adequate care, and to search for the dead and prevent their being despoiled. What are we supposed to do? Lock them up in Guantanamo? Or we supposed to take them to a nice shelter and take care of them? These are terrorist war crime enemies. Is it better if we lock them up forever? Because that's what we would do. What do they think? We're going to put them up in the Hyatt? Give them a steak dinner? It is stupid. The Geneva Convention. Who the hell is Geneva anyway? Isn't that like Switzerland? Yo. Why this provision of international humanitarian law, violation of which constitutes a war crime, applies to submarines as well as to surface ships. There are limited exceptions to this obligation, particularly relevant to submarines. For example, the relatively limited space on a submarine could make it impossible to accommodate all survivors on board. Nor is a submarine required to take action that would compromise its safety, such as surfacing within range of enemy forces. So fact check, not a war crime. Look at that. I love how they put a headline and then they debunk their headline in the article, but nobody reads the articles. There's no evidence as yet that the submarine, the U.S. Navy, or United States Central Command did so. The Sri Lanka authorities indicated Wednesday that they were made aware of the incident by the distress call they received from the ship itself. They didn't even know it was an Iranian ship until they had rescued and communicated with the survivors. The ship had sunk below the surface by the time they arrived on site. RS sent a request for comment to CENTCOM regarding compliance with Article 18. It went unanswered as of Thursday evening. They're not going to respond to who is responsible statecraft. RS. Nobody knows who you are. You think CENTCOM is going to respond to you asking about wartime intelligence? No. Duh. In the first years of the Second World War, the much-feared German U-boats frequently surfaced to help survivors of the nice Germans, the nice Nazis, of their torpedoed targets, providing them with food, water, medical treatment, lifeboats, and then a prison until they die. Or until we liberate the troops by winning the war. That practice, however, ended in mid-September 1942 when a German U-boat sank the Laconia, a British troop ship with some. Is that what the movie U-571 is about? As other access ships approached to aid the rescue effort, however, the U-boat came under attack by a U.S. Army Air Force bomber, killing dozens of survivors and forcing the submarine to dive. Several days later, the overall German U-boat commander, Admiral Karl Dönitz, issued a so-called Laconia order that forbade future rescue attempts. The unrestricted submarine warfare that followed and that later landed Dönitz in the dock of the Nuremberg trials helped lay the foundation for the drafting of Article 18 of the Second Geneva Convention. When Secretary Hegseth asserted during his triumphant briefing Wednesday, "Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it." This is what he had in mind. "I can't assess whether the U.S. overtook all possible measures to search for and collect the shipwrecked without having a better idea of what is possible in this situation," wrote Brian Finucane, a senior advisor specializing in military affairs with the U.S. program at the International Crisis Group, in an email to RS. "But I certainly think the U.S. military needs to explain itself, particularly if no attempts at search and rescue were made." Jim Loeb is the author of that. Okay. All right. I was going to look at like history. I'll probably not spend a lot of time on this right now, but maybe later we'll look into history of wars with Iran. Look at all these wars with Iran. Look, this is why it's a forever war. Is this in chronological order? The Elamite invasion of Sumer. Elamites. Elam. 2600 BC, 2400 BC, 2400 BC, 2300 BC, 2200 BC, 2100 BC. We're going 4,000 years back. There's a war constantly in the Middle East. That's why peace in the Middle East is scary, because it's scary if you're worried about like the quote unquote end times. It is biblical that if there's peace in the Middle East, that that's not a good thing. So when they say this war could bring about the apocalypse, what they're saying is we're going to bring peace to the Middle East, and then the third temple gets rebuilt. Antichrist comes along. 320. We're only look. I'm scrolling through these. We're only at the Hellenistic era. You know, we're only up to 192 BC. The Parthian Empire. I bet you 300. I bet you 500 to 800 gets skipped. The Sasanian Empire. Holy moly! We're up to. Oh, here we go. Oh, we're at 500 to 628. The Byzantine Sassanid Wars. This one right here. See how there's very little information on this one? All the rest are kind of big, and this one's empty. That's because this time period didn't happen. The War for the Caucasus, the Armenian Revolt, the War of the Camels Udder. The War of the Camels Udder. Wow. The Medieval Islamic Era. So basically what I'm saying is Iran's always at war. Like, what do people think? There's just going to be peaches and cream over there in the desert forever because of Trump? Come on. Be realistic. Second Turco-Persian era. We're up to 1387. Still got a long way to scroll. Oh, look at this big one. Sarfid dynasty, the campaigns of Ismail I in the 1500s. It's a big one. I want to look through. Dude, this is so much. If you want to know the history of Iranian wars, you're going to have to do a lot of research. The Zand Iran, the Qajar Iran. We're up to 1837. We're in the 1900s. Keep scrolling. The Pahlavi Iran. Don't put things in the Iran. The Iran is going to collapse. 1996. Oh, we jump back to, we're in the 2000s. Lebanon War in 2006. Yemeni Civil War in 2014 to present. War on ISIS 2014 and ongoing. Islamic State insurgency in Iraq 2017 to present. 2023 to present. The Gaza proxy war. The Red Sea crisis. Syrian conflict. There's still so much scrolling to do. Holy crap. How long does this go on for? Okay. The Libyan Civil War ended in 2020. Anyway, so lots of wars going on in Iran. Meanwhile, oh, shoot. Don't message me stuff when I'm doing the stream. This is some Marine guy doing some theater kid drama at a Senate hearing. Doing a little theater kid drama, dressed up like a Marine. Little planned demonstration here.
And nobody wants to fight for Israel. A reminder to all our Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America.
His hand! His hand! Oh my God, his hand!
No one wants to fight for Israel.
Oh my God, that's his dumbass fault. Oh my God, his hand!
Sir, thank you for your service.
The senator broke his hand. The senator broke his hand.
Oh my God, this is so lame. The senator broke his hand. No, the idiot put his hand in a door jamb and the door closed.
Please help him. He's a Marine.
So what? You don't just because you were a Marine doesn't mean you get to act like a retard in a Senate hearing.
Somebody come help him.
Somebody come help him.
Drop top.
What is this?
We're whooping the eye socket. Whipping on the road, it cannot stop. Bro is the precinct, the top bop. I whip my chair, I ain't running home. No legs. I got that rocket, I let it go. I went to my sister, I let her know. Mama. She found a culprit in seconds, bro.
My chick got legs and toes. My legs don't work, but I go. Her dad about to get eight.
He can't talk shit about me no more.
My chick got legs and toes.
I don't know what this is, but I like it. Sorry, that was just something random that popped up. Okay, then we have Trump responding to the bomb that hit the school. So NBC is reporting. I don't know what that was, but I liked it. Not U-571, but they did make a movie about the submarines, I think. Dude, if you message me stuff while I'm in the show, your name is going to pop up on my screen. So, just so you know. I don't know why people don't send that stuff to the Discord. You don't like people confronting senators? If they go up to the microphone and they want to say what they want to say, they can say what they want to say. I don't like people acting like idiots and acting like children and doing a big drama theater kid show in the middle of a Senate hearing. He could have went up to the microphone, said his piece, and then walked out. Yeah, we have decorum. We have rules. This is an uncivilized third world country. You follow the rules of decorum. You do it the right way. You don't do a big show, a big presentation. Yeah. Where you act like a toddler and throw a hissy fit. Dude looked like a bitch. How about that?
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hickson? It was Iran who did that?
certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
So Pete doesn't look as confident when he says it. And NBC is now reporting, I saw the article right beforehand, right before I started the show. NBC is saying it is confirmed that that was a U.S. missile, but then I see other news agencies saying, no, there's pictures of it going up and coming down. It was a failed missile strike from Iran. But then they have stills of it, but I don't even know what's real anymore. So L take. Okay, well, defend the guy crying like a baby in a Senate hearing. I'm a Marine. We don't want to fight for Iran. No, you're a L take.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran. Because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
That's from Al Jazeera, the Muslim news network. I don't think I have the article up. I don't think I have the article about that missile from NBC, but NBC saying, and what if they don't want you to say it and don't want you to speak? Well, then what happens is you go up on the stage, they'll cut your mic, and then they'll escort you out, and then you sue them. That's what you do. Yeah. It's not that complicated. It happens all the time at Senate hearings and other hearings. Town hall hearings. Happens all the time. If you thought that was based, then I don't know what to tell you. You think theater kids throwing hissy fits is something cool. Dude looked like a child. U.S. troops told Iran war will bring on biblical end times. So this was a little story that was going around early in the week. I thought it was fake news when I first saw it, but I guess it actually did happen. We're going to bring about the rapture. Pete Hegseth got a Crusader tattoo on his chest. Sue them. Okay, yeah. Yeah, people get settlements all the time. As war in the Middle East enters, if you don't think, I'm not going to argue with you. If you don't think that was performative nonsense, then I don't know what to tell you. You're probably blind and can't see. But as war in the Middle East enters its second week, U.S. military officers are holding prayer meetings at the Pentagon and telling soldiers that the war on Iran is a religious war mandated by God and intended to bring near the day of the rapture. And you know, evangelicals and a lot of Protestants are real big on the rapture. We had the Left Behind series. I think that Left Behind series did a lot of damage. It kind of screwed up a lot of people's minds. Got a lot of people hyper-focused on the end times, which was already a problem. Seven-day Adventists. The Branch Davidians branched off of the Seven-day Adventists. Waco was a branch off of the Seven-day Adventists. Seven-day Adventists focuses on the end times. They have this theory that a day is 1,000 years and that they can plot out the end times. And basically, we're in the last day of the 7-day timeline. And it's kind of like the D-Day clock. The D-Day clock, which as time goes on, the time moves slower on it, so that because we're like half a second away. So the clock just moves at normal speed, and then once they start seeing, oh, the world's supposed to end 20 years ago, but it hasn't ended yet, so we need to slow down the second hand, slow it down some more, slow it down some more. That clock just never ticks. This fear mongering about the end times is dumb, and it leads to dangerous cults, dangerous doomsday cults, suicide cults, stuff like that. And now we see Hegseth and the military kind of promoting this. Is the idea that we're crusaders going into a holy war kind of based? Yeah. but is fear-mongering about the end times and talking about the rapture, harpazo, is that based? Nah, I don't like it. As war in the Middle East enters its second week, I already read this. The day of the rapture, soldiers at such Pentagon meetings and at locations at military installations around the U.S. have been describing the sessions to the press, asking in most cases that their names not be revealed for fear of repercussions. So it's not like this is they've been so these are secret anonymous military whistleblowers coming to the press saying they're telling us it's the rapture, it's to bring about the apocalypse. I think that it probably was like a little line somebody dropped. Maybe somebody said something like, God's behind us and this is a war. The Bible talks about the end times and war in the Middle East and blah, blah, blah. Maybe they said a few lines and then these guys come out and they're like, well, these Christians are telling us it's the apocalypse. Overindulging the story. Probably what's happening here. From some anonymous military whistleblower. Probably the type of guys that would do a theater kid performance. Oh, speaking of, dude, there's a series of TikToks going around where a bunch of these guys have signed up for the military, thinking that they're just gonna get, they're just gonna join and nothing's gonna happen and they're gonna get their benefits forever. And so they join the military. Now they're getting deployed, and they're all crying. They're like, "No, I'm going to war. I didn't want to go to war. Shouldn't have joined the military then, huh, dumbass? What do you think they're for? What do you think we have them for? You think we have toys not to play with them? These aren't action figures that we just keep in the box on the shelf." The United States launched its war on Iran last week and has since then carried out deadly bombing raids. The war, in only 7 days, has spread to 16 countries, engulfing the Middle East, but spreading out into Europe and the African continent and Asia. Okay, here we go. There are various groups in the U.S. that monitor what they consider threats to religious freedom, including inside the Army, Navy, and Air Force. One such group, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, says it is receiving emailed complaints from U.S. soldiers who said they have been told by superior officers that the war against Iran is intended to cause Armageddon. MRFF, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. Gay! MRFF said it. I already read that. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. Numerous emails from U.S. service members trigger Armageddon, which according to Christian fundamentalists will be feature of the end times. According to the group, an unnamed non-commissioned officer wrote an email to MRFF. An unnamed non-commissioned officer. A commander had urged officers to tell our troops that this was part of God's divine plan. And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelations, referring to also, there is no book of Revelations. So either the guy who called in this tip or peoplesworld.org, which does not sound like a credible news source, didn't do any fact checking. There's no such thing as the book of Revelations. Okay, that's not a thing. Referring to it's revelation. It's one revelation. That book is one revelation. It's not a collection of revelations. Referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. The report in MRFF picked up already by various media outlets beyond those normally associated with online conspiracy theories explained that the commander had told the unit that Trump had been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. Now, I love Trump, but if you guys have been around for 200 episodes, you'll know he's definitely in my top 5 list for Antichrist candidates. He fits all the criteria. And if it's the case that he's the Antichrist, then I will say, I was wrong. Trump's not a nice guy, but I always said it from the beginning. He's definitely on my list for candidates. Him, Elon Musk. Might have to put Peter Thiel on that list. Maybe JD Vance is on that list now too. It's a constant changing list of Antichrist candidates. And now I think I have a picture of it. Yeah, I have a picture of it right here. Trump does this kind of weird thing where he has everybody pray over him in the Oval Office, and this lady is at the forefront. I can't stand this lady. People think that I've never been critical of Trump. I've been critical from day one when he recruited this lady. I forget her name because I really don't care to know her name, as his spiritual advisor. This is the lady. Angels are coming down from Africa right now. Africa right now. Angels are coming down from Africa right now. Mecca, lecca, haka, licka, duka, haka. Angels from Africa during the BLM stuff. This lady is batshit crazy, and she has no business being anyone's spiritual advisor ever. I don't know why Trump has her in there. Big epic fail, epic L, Trump. Get that lady out of here. And so she's probably putting this stuff in his ear. God told me that you were going to spread the divine light. And he's like, I like that. It sounds really cool. Make sure that all the generals hear that and tell the soldiers. Is that possible? Yeah. Is this being probably overindulged a little bit to make controversy and is it a little bit of fake news? Probably yes. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said something like that in the military at some point. Everyone is in a folder. I got a folder on everybody. Donald Trump has often praised William McKinley, a White House predecessor who shared the current president's love of tariffs and territorial expansion. Also, by the way, it flew under the radar. I have it in rapid fire news, though. Supreme Court shot down the tariffs. What's the word? Expiated? They said no to the tariffs. So tariffs aren't even going to happen. Yeah, it's funny. People for the past, since Trump got in office, have been bitching about the economy because of the tariffs. Everything's big. Everything's bad. The economy's bad, even though we're at like 2% decrease, the greatest economic bounce back in history, in the history of America. People have been complaining about it because of the tariffs. The tariffs never even started, and they just got shot down. They said we can't do it. So, Lord have mercy. His love of tariffs and territorial expansion. A pious man, McKinley claimed he had divine sanction for the 1898 U.S. annexation of the Philippines in the wake of the Spanish-American War. According to McKinley's account, he was tormented by what to do with the former Spanish colonies when he went down on my knees and prayed to Almighty God for light and guidance. Then he was struck by a divine insight that the United States had a mission to educate the Filipinos and uplift and civilize and Christianize them. It's impossible to imagine Trump, for all his stated admiration of McKinley, going down on his knees and seeking heavenly counsel. While Trump is the head of a political coalition whose largest element is evangelical Christians, his own personal faith seems at best a cynical and barely disguised performance. In 2015, at the start of his political career, he said he had never asked God for forgiveness. When asked if he preferred the Old or New Testament, he said probably equal. I think it's just incredible. I mean, I don't think any Christians think Trump is like some Bible thumping, guy. None of us think that. So I don't know, but he promotes Christianity and talks about God, so that's cool. Tariffs are still happening. Look again. Maybe. I guess the latest thing I saw is from February 20th. Let me see. So I guess maybe if something newer has come out, then perhaps you're right. Supreme Court strikes down tariffs. This is from February. So maybe something more recent has happened. I don't know. We'll get to that. in a little bit, but they're not going to I'm not going to make a free account. But yeah, basically just they're saying he has divine light. This is a holy war bringing about the apocalypse. And then this lady, I think this lady is behind it. She's feeding stuff into Trump's ear that has no business being there. He needs to get rid of her. This lady is batshit crazy. I think she's part of that feminine. There's I watched a documentary about a cult that is like all ran. It's gynocentric. They promote healthy living, which means like being anorexic, or bulimic, whatever it is, where they stay super skinny and they throw up all their food. And it's like a woman's cult that they're all like bulimic and they say that it's healthy to be skinny and blah, blah, blah. So they stay super skinny. And I think she's with them. And Trump, they love Trump. Trump has spoke at their events and stuff. And he at his rallies, they would always, a group of them would always come to his rallies and he'd say, and look at my ladies over here. Fine ladies, beautiful ladies. These are all ladies from this cult. I forget what it's called. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? What they're called? The Wicked Star is going. I am no Trump cult member. I am intelligent women. Yeah, I can't find it. There's a YouTube documentary that I listen to, but I can't think of what they're called. Anyway, I think she has some connections with them. But I don't like that lady. Okay, so that's the Iran stuff. Holy war, torpedoes, schools getting blown up. Now let's move on to Kristi Noem, another lady in the White House. Nice segue. The lady of the ladies of Trump's government. She's gone. The mood at DHS shifts after Kristi Noem's departure. After word came that President Donald Trump fired Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem Thursday, the mood at the department suddenly shifted. She's gone, the source told ABC News, saying that there was a sigh of relief within the agency. She kind of cute in her pantsuit. Take that pantsuit off and put on a dang sundress, woman. Go make some sandwiches. Noem is slated to leave her position on March 31st, according to Trump, and will take a newly created position, Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas. The president said more details of that position would be revealed on Saturday. Trump named Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin as her replacement. Let's see this guy. Is this a guy? Markwayne Mullin. At least it's a man. Markwayne Mullin. What kind of name is Markwayne? So this is the new president of the DHS. Republican Party, member of Cherokee Nation. Oh, yeah, he looks Cherokee. He looks about as much Cherokee as Elizabeth Warren is Cherokee. Mullen is the first Native American. Oh, my God. They always got to do that crap. I hate that. He's the first Native American. What do you mean? They're all Native Americans. Every senator is a Native American, except for Ilhan Omar and the foreigners. Aren't like almost all of our senators and Congress people and presidents, the presidents, aren't they required to be Native American? I'm a Native American. It's so dumb. And I thought we were supposed to call them indigenous peoples now. Anyway, shout out Mark Twain. I don't care what Wikipedia says. He white. Noem's departure marked months of controversy and internal struggles inside the department, according to sources, with the secretary coming under scrutiny for her multi-million-dollar advertising campaigns, photo ops during immigration and customs enforcement operations, and her statements following the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by federal law enforcement in Minneapolis. I don't know if I even blame her for that, though. I'm sure she had a script. She was just reading off a script. And then here's her answering questions about bedrooms on the jets that we use to deport people.
Sir,
He just showed a picture, and it's like a master bedroom. Now, her argument is for those are the family sections. For when they remove the families, they give them a nice room on the plane.
Could you explain this?
But it's probably for staff.
Sir, I'm looking at a picture of an interior. Looks like a bedroom.
Of an airplane?
Yes, sir.
You're not familiar with that?
These photos are not accurate. If you're referring to the airplanes that the Department of Homeland Security has purchased and are purchasing, we're using them for long-range command and control aircraft that is dictated in statute by Congress for the Department of Homeland Security to have a plane.
And they're saying that this is like her personal bedroom on a jet. But she's saying these are bedrooms made. Her argument is these are bedrooms that are made for families who are being deported. So if you're like a lone guy, you just get like a seat. But if you have a big family, they put you in this bedroom. That's her argument. But it's very nice.
A luxury jet with a bedroom in it?
Yeah, we used a 737. I've been on it once, but it is being used by other administration officials, and it is used for command and control flights for the department. The department has found that in purchasing our aircraft, that we will save the taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars.
Does it have a bedroom?
In fact, we spent $1.42 billion on ICE deportation flights last year.
Does it have a bedroom in it?
I believe it's being refurbished and not having a bedroom in it. So it is being refurbished.
I believe it's being. That's a pre-qualifier that means you're probably lying. I believe, to be honest with you, as I recall, whenever you preface what you're saying with something like that, it's typically a sign that you're lying.
What kind of deportee justifies being flown out of the country in a luxury?
You're lying, or you really just don't know what you're talking about, and you should probably say, I don't know.
Jet with a bedroom and accommodations like this.
There are aircraft being purchased that will be utilized for executive air travel and for deportations.
Well,
if you remember in the past, we have used jets of this size and this configuration for deportations in the past. If you remember
in this configuration, by this configuration, you mean with a bedroom and luxury accommodations like this,
that plane
used for deportations. Is that true?
Sir, we have 737s that are being purchased by the department to replace contracts that we have on ICE deportations. That's what they're going to be used for. And in fact, the Coast Guard is the only entity within the Department of Homeland Security that has jets at this point in time. They had two G5s that were 20 to 25 years old that are being replaced so that they can continue to serve our Coast Guard and our military for years to come.
About these aircraft, they've been reported as saying, although they don't want to say publicly
this guy's name is Mr. Whitehouse. That's a cool name if you're in the Senate or Congress. Your name is Mr. Whitehouse.
But individuals described as senior administration officials have described these airplane purchases as the world's worst.
I'm here for the 72-hour stream.
And an abuse of...
I'll do a 72-hour stream when I make enough money to quit my job. There's no period where I go 72 hours without having to go to work. The longest I get is 48 hours.
Federal funds. Can you tell me what the Republicans on this committee who voted for what I call the...
We'll do a 24-hour stream either for midterms or when I hit 6,000, whichever comes first. But 24-hour stream isn't even that impressive. Like, that's just some random weekends I'll just do that.
The billionaires bill that gave you the money to buy these jets.
I think we did that like 2 weeks ago.
About your plans to acquire luxury jets when they voted for that money.
The dollars for these airplanes was appropriated by Congress. In fact, it's mandated from Congress and rules that you've given us that we need to have a long-range command and control aircraft that will seat up to 17 people in the Department of Homeland Security for national security purposes. We are complying with the law. Those planes are being refurbished and will be utilized for that, and they'll be utilized by members of the administration and other components.
First,
they will also cut our...
The planes that you're deporting guys on should be aircraft carriers without even seats on them. There's no need for seats. Just sit the people on the floor and put them on an aircraft carrier and fly them back. They don't need a G5 for immigrants. But she's saying, she's speaking out of both sides of her mouth. She's saying, in one argument, she says they're going to put families in there when they use those for deportation. But then on the other side, she says that's for the staff, government staff and Coast Guard and stuff like that. So I guess they get a luxury bedroom.
Our costs are by almost 40%. We are saving the taxpayer 40% by purchasing our own aircraft and operating them rather than being susceptible to the contracts that they have today.
We have an extra 2 minutes to fill in the filibuster.
Nope. Fill in the filibuster. She's filibustering. Anyway, so she's gone. Marquane Mullen is coming in. And they're saying that her being ousted could actually, the Hill, far left the Hill, is saying due to her ousting,
be a powerful...
it could lead to the reopening of the government. This is her talking, addressing the new security coalition for Western Hemisphere at the summit.
I'm personally very excited to be part of this with each of you today. It's a top priority for us.
So I do want to thank the President for creating this and for giving me the honor and the opportunity to serve as a special envoy to this region, to the Western Hemisphere. This Shield of Americas will be a...
And I think it's funny because so people, the left is going to be like, yeah, they kicked her out of the DHS. She's not running the DHS anymore. Now we can open the DHS and it'll run just perfectly. We're not going to hate ICE anymore because mean old Greg Bavino and CHRISTI NOEM aren't there anymore. She's getting a better job with more power. She's going to be the secretary envoy for the entire Western Hemisphere. They gave her more power. Oh, Lord.
A powerful example to the rest of the world about what's possible. There's nothing like this happening today anywhere else in the world. And the way that we cooperate on our shared ideals of freedom and of democracy and safety and security will be a shining light to all of those who wish to be more like all of us. Our objectives are going to be to destroy the cartels, to go after these narco-terrorists that are destroying our people, killing our children and our grandchildren.
That's based.
We're also going to keep our adversaries at bay. Those adversaries that wish to change our way of life and our values that are outside of our hemisphere, we want to ensure that we're continuing to keep them out of our hemisphere and focus on building alliances amongst ourselves and our strengths. And we'll work together to continue to make sure that our relationship is a shield to the Americas, that this will be a Western Hemisphere that is better, safer, more prosperous, and more free because of the leadership that all of you provide. So thank you to Secretary Rubio for hosting this and having the vision to bring us all together. I think this will be something that for years to come will bring more security to our nations.
So she's out of the DHS. The ouster of CHRISTI NOEM opens the path for a potential deal to reopen the Department of Homeland Security, according to Senate sources familiar with negotiations. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said NOEM's departure from Homeland Security is a major step that he said should move the negotiations closer to a deal. Senate GOP source familiar with the talks said Republican leaders hope it will be enough to persuade a group of centrists to break with their leadership and vote for a bill to reopen the government. 4 Democrats voted with Republicans in the House Thursday to fund the Homeland Security Department through September. There's a lot of talks happening. Said a Senate source familiar with negotiations, the moderates could be the off-ramp again. If people saw the substance of the White House If people saw the substance of the White House offer, it is a substantive offer. That's redundant. There's an ongoing, meaningful exchange. President Trump's pick to replace NOEM, Senator Markwayne Mullin, is getting positive reviews from some Democratic colleagues who believe his appointment as Homeland Security Secretary will open the door to addressing the problems in the department. So they oust her from the DHS, but they give her a more powerful position. And then this Markwayne guy comes in, and Democrats might reopen the DHS, which is currently shuttered, while we're supposed to have our mass deportations. Does JS even watch John Oliver? No, I don't. Last night's episode was jarring. He claims the cuts to USAID killed 750,000 people. So stupid. Yeah, that's retarded. That's not true. All right, so that's all the main story news. Now let me open this real quick. We're gonna do rapid fire news now. Where the heck? Why is this thing not?
Two mentals don't make a non-mental.
Two mentals don't make a non-mental. Let me open these up. I don't have a lot. We don't do meme review anymore because I just don't have time anymore. But we will watch these funny videos. This is not a funny reel. Hold on a second. Let me... Wish that I could make this... How do I make this bigger without... Anyway. We got some funny reels. This first one's not funny. This is actually another local news story relating to ICE and the DHS. Check this out. This is this is in Salt Lake City. St. George. This is in St. George, which is like 45 minutes from Salt Lake City. No, St. George is down south. St. George is farther. This is almost before you get down to Mesquite and go into Nevada and stuff. This is southern Utah, but look at this guy in his underwear and a mask, vandalizing an ICE vehicle.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Why are you calling me?
I'm calling you to see if you're willing to meet up to discuss an incident that happened on Friday night.
What are you talking about?
Look, man, I'm not going to play this game with you. Either you're willing to meet up with me or not. If you're not willing to meet up with me, I will file charges on you and you can go that route. I know where you live. I know where you work. And this way, we can do it on...
So this is the guy from ICE calling the suspect and saying, either come in or we're going to get you. This is some dude in his underwear and a mask kicking and breaking mirrors off of an ICE van.
In your terms. The other way, it happens on my terms. I just want to let you know what we have because you asked. I'm going to give you that song.
You think they didn't have fucking video surveillance on that building? Just because you wear a mask, you think they can't find you?
And let you know what's up. So there was an incident that occurred over at the Immigration and Customs Office, HSI, on Friday. Okay, we have surveillance.
GWAT? What is GWAT? I don't know what GWAT is. We did not dissolve USAID. Marco Rubio is still over USAID. We're still running USAID. All the programs we canceled were a bunch of fraudulent bullshit. So if he says USA killed 750,000 people and you say, no, that number's low, he actually killed 1 million in some other thing that's totally unrelated to USAID. God, oh my God.
We have a Ring camera doorbell. We have a fingerprint. We have all kinds of things that connect you to this incident. So before we go any further, I'm going to read you your rights. With your rights in mind, would you like to speak with me right now? Not at all? Okay. Hop on up. 1, 2, 3.
Operation Epic Fury is taking a...
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan. Poor Ryan. All right. So that's funny. What else we got? Okay, these are actually funny. That's funny, but that's actually news. But this is not news. These are just some funny reels. Listen to this. I don't know if this is real, but I think it is. Listen to this. I'm going to blow you guys' mind right now.
Yeah, I can do it.
Do it.
So
Ready?
you sing it like Dancing Gonya Bagiti Baba Ingonyama.
Say it again. Yeah, what does it mean?
It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
You're joking. That is not what that means. That is not what that means.
That's exactly what it means.
That's what it means. Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God. It's a lion.
Oh my
If you're
God.
driving...
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God. Lion. Oh my God. Damn. That changes my whole childhood. I thought they were saying something deep there. Oh, God. What else we got? Here, this is the mermaid fish. Just want to give you a message from the Vietnamese mermaid fish.
Remember, when you go fishing, don't catch the underside one, okay? Trail back in the ocean. Look after our water and wildlife in the sea, okay?
Wildlife in the sea.
Okay, see you.
What are people doing on the internet? I just love the Vietnamese accent.
Remember, when you go fishing, don't catch the underside one, okay? Trail back in the ocean. Look after our water and wildlife in the sea, okay? See you.
I've been yeah, we were talking about USAID. GY is the global war on terrorism. Okay, yeah, see? Yeah. That's what I was saying. We're talking about one thing, and you're like, no, the numbers are higher, and you bring up a totally different thing. I was like, what is he talking about? No, they're saying we're killing millions of poor AIDS children in Africa because we cut USAID. But then they'll say, USAID, you totally got rid of USAID. No, USAID is still running. And a lot of the programs in USA are decent programs, but the majority of them were garbage fraud scams, and we shut all those down. Oh, yes, it's a lion. Here comes a liar, father. Here comes a lion, father. What was I going to say? Oh, just about this wildlife thing. I've been hooked on Florida Wildlife Control body cam videos. And so they'll get people with who are catching lobster. Do you know undersized lobster? Dude, they will hit you hard. These kids were catching lobsters in the rocks. This kid got 69 misdemeanors for having 20 undersized lobster tails. You get 20 charges for out of season, 20 charges for undersized, and then any ones that had spear marking on them, he got charged for spear fishing, and then 20 more charges for something else. But he got 69 misdemeanors for for having some lobster tails. And so I was watching these body cam videos. There's one, I wonder if I can pull it up real quick. I'll show you. The comment section is crazy because I can find it. It's in my watch later. Should be. Okay, look at this.
I tried everything. Coffee.
So
new tonight, 2 people have been arrested after 2 suspicious devices were thrown near Gracie
Wait,
Mansion.
what is...
That's the official residence.
Quiet, lady. I'm not ready for you yet. Okay, so this is the video. This wildlife control guy
out on future videos and off.
he walks up on these immigrants. Two of them run off into the water and hide in the woods. And then they eventually go into the woods and they get the other guys. And all of these guys admit to the wildlife guy that they're in the country illegally. They're in the country illegally. They lie and say they don't speak English, but you could tell they speak English because the dude who's supposed to be translating to them, this guy, never repeats what the officer says. When the officer says, I don't want to have to arrest you, you see this kid's eyes get real big. They understand everything the cop is saying. So they're lying to the officer. They're fleeing and trying to hide in the woods. And then they have 996 illegally caught fish. They're fishing with a net, which is illegal. They got game fish that they're not allowed to have caught with a net. They have smallmouth bass and sunfish. And then they have suckers and bottom-dwelling fish. They basically destroyed this ecosystem in one day for illegal immigrants who fled the officer and lied to the officer. He gives them each 2 tickets and lets them go. Look at that. Go to the end here.
He said he got a fishing license, but it's for
Yeah,
offenses.
with my bag.
Right. But he made it offenses. But this is Missouri.
They had like 4 buckets, 2 trash bags, 2 coolers. It ended up being 996 illegally caught fish.
Put his fish, these fish back in that bucket, and them fish back in that one. All the other? Yep.
But the one thing I kind of disagree with is they already caught all the fish. The fish are all dead. You know, somebody might as well eat the fish, is what I think. Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to destroy them? You're going to take them to some fish restaurant and make fish sticks? What are we doing with these fish that you just confiscated 1,000 fish? I mean, give them the... If you're going to let them go, at least let them eat some of the fish.
Yeah,
But he lets them go. He lets them leave. These are illegal immigrants, fled an officer, lied to the officer, poaching, destroying the ecosystem of this lake in one day, making our country like their country, and the guy just lets them go.
If they both want to come down there, that's fine. I
With
need
2
them
tickets.
Then put back in that bucket, and then put in that bucket.
But if you go to the comment section, at least the comment section is based. Look at these comments. Oh, and they for sure was going to leave all the trash. Yeah, because there was a ton of trash there, and he walks up. He's like, are we going to pick up this trash before we leave? And they're like, yeah. No, they weren't. They wiped out the whole ecosystem in that creek. I'm more disgusted with the lack of justice than the poachers. They're not even fishing. They're netting. Disgusting behavior. They should all have left in handcuffs. Terrible. They should have been arrested. This is criminal. Warden goes in like big shit badass and does absolutely nothing. What a failure. This is bullshit. I'd rather be in I'd be in handcuffs if I lied and dumped a bucket of fish and hid my fish in the bushes, hid in the trees, throwing a cast net, hundreds of illegal fish, no fishing license, and so on. Yeah, any of us would be arrested. They just killed, reset the entire waterway. Seriously, this is BS, no consequences. Arrest them, confiscate their fish, cast nets, buckets, coolers, beverages, and cars. Pretending to not understand or speak English while knowingly hiding in the bushes with buckets of illegal fish. As soon as they see police, sinister work. Dude, I get a ticket for reeling in a rod while having 1 extra in the water, and this guy lets these people off with a slap for ruining the environment. I'm so disgusted by this flagrant disregard. It's sickening. You got any fish? Nah. Is that a fish scale in your hair? Look at him when the officer said arrest. They understand every word. Jail time and confiscate everything. Wiped out that stretch of creek. All should be in jail and deported. All liars and scum. So the comment section gets it. This guy lets these guys off for nothing. We probably would have been taken to jail. It's crazy. So much money that Fish and Game bring in with our chair. I wouldn't dare believe be a police officer talking about doing a job with both your hands tied behind your back. How are you going to let them go after that? Yeah, this is crazy. JS reaction video to John Oliver would be fun. You can't. That's like NBC. That's like super copyright. Like I've played clips from Saturday Night Live and got my whole stream taken down. So you can't. I can't do that. But yeah, that's just crazy. We got one more little interesting video here. It's small. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you guys. Pause. That's what she said. Check out this cat messing with this snake. That's what she said too. This is why cats are cool as hell. Dude, this cat, it says this cat must be, cats must be watching the world in slow motion. Every time the snake tries to strike at the cat just goes, flap, flap, smacks its head into the ground. Just toy him with this snake. Look at that. Flap, flap. See, the snake tries to fight back for a little bit and tries to hit at the cat. Figures out, okay, my head hurts. This is not working. So then the snake just tries to run. And every time the cat will let it almost get away into like some rocks. And then at the last second, the cat will grab it by the tail and yank it back out. And then mess with it some more. See, look, it's going under this step. This guy says, nope, nope. Whack! Trying to sneak into this crack in the sidewalk. Oh, you came back? Dumb idea. You're not going to win this fight. Get out of there. It's so cool. Whack! Whack! The cat's just like, come on, buddy. What you gonna do? Whack! Smacking the crap out of him. Based cat. If you mute the audio and just react, maybe. Oh, how can I react if the audio's muted? Okay. Here's people sending me stuff on Facebook. Okay, so producer is saying that this is wrong, but this is from February 20th. Supreme Court strikes down tariffs. Also heard Taylor, what's his name, say this at a protest that the Supreme Court has shot down the tariffs, but producer said it's still happening. Let me see. Look, lion. Oh my God. There's a lion. Oh my God. Tariffs back after Supreme Court ruling. Small business owners doubt they'll see refunds after Supreme Court invalidates. Consumers pay tariffs on overseas items. Now they want a refund. Multiple states sue over Trump's new global tariffs imposed after his Supreme Court loss. From 24 states challenged President Trump's new global tariffs on Thursday, filing a lawsuit over import taxes imposed. Democratic attorneys and generals and governments lawsuit agree Trump is overstepping his power with planned 15% tariffs on much of the world. Trump said the tariffs are essential. Section 122, which has never been invoked, allows the president to impose tariffs up to 15%. They're limited to 5 months unless extended by Congress. So he's using this Section 122 to go around the he imposed duties under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974 after the Supreme Court struck down tariffs he imposed last year under an emergency powers law. So this is what producer was talking about. So the Supreme Court, February 20th, struck 6-3 ruling. Tariffs exceed the powers given to the president by Congress under a 1977 law, providing him the authority to regulate commerce during national emergencies created by foreign threats. But then he used this Section 122 from a more recent law, or was it 1979? 1974. Okay, so no, not more recent, but so he's using Section 122 of the Trade Act to bypass their blocking of his tariffs. That's interesting. But so yeah, I guess the Supreme Court did strike it down, but he's going around that. And then business owners are complaining, and they're saying, we want refunds for this money. Well, he already said he was gonna do checks with the tariff money, but we aren't gonna get those checks until the tariffs can run for a little bit. They keep trying to block it, even though Democrats loved tariffs. Pelosi, Clinton, Obama all talked about doing tariffs and how China's screwing us and we need to do these tariffs, but nobody ever actually did it. Then Trump comes in and just says, I'm doing it. Doesn't matter what you do to try to stop me, I'm doing it. And now they all hate him for it, even though they all supported it over the past 30 years while we've been being screwed by the rest of the world. So it's such a double standard. It's so funny. In Kansas City, there's absolutely no nuisance loitering and talking about Ninja Cat. Yes. Relay what you heard in your words. So I'm just gonna watch the video and say what he says and then talk about it. Silent reaction. That could work. Or I could just imitate John Oliver and say what he says. I'm John Oliver, and today we're going to talk about what President Trump did wrong. I think my British accent always ends up sounding Australian. What else we got in rapid fire news? More Epstein file stuff. Dude, the Katie Johnson lies. The Katie Johnson lies are back again. All these idiots talk about Katie Johnson. Katie Johnson was debunked. That wasn't even a real name. The picture they show of her it's a different girl completely. It's some young actress whose name is not Katie Johnson. Katie Johnson was a made up name. They're saying that they released the depositions. Now, I don't know if this is Katie Johnson or somebody else, but dude, it's on YouTube. Do we ever play this? Did I ever listen to this with you guys? Let me see if I can pull it up. This is her testimony.
I came to this interview on my free will. No, there was nothing promised to me for doing this interview. Excellent. Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth.
Okay. Her face is blurred. This is 30 minutes long. I've listened to it before. I've talked about it. I've never played it on the stream. I'm not going to play all of it right now. Maybe we can listen to it on a Friday or a Saturday. But the stuff she says in this does not make any sense. And it came out that this is all BS in 2016. Her name is not Katie Johnson. And the deposition that she gives, the testimony she gives, they found out that it was written by a writer for the Jerry Springer show. A Trump hater, a TDS suffering Hollywood writer, wrote this script and came up with this plan. The name Katie Johnson is fake. There's pictures of him with a girl in his lap, and they say this is him with Katie Johnson. That came out to be debunked. That was him with some child actress. at a fashion week or something, and he took a picture with her. It's all bullshit. The Katie Johnson thing has been so debunked, but now because of the Epstein files, because her name's in there, people believe it. Well, now DOJ releases previously withheld FBI reports about sex abuse allegation against Trump. Woman claimed she was abused in the 1980s between the ages of 13 and 15. The video is from an earlier story and will be updated. In a statement on social media, the Department of Justice said the interview summaries known as FBI 302 reports were initially withheld from the January release of millions of pages of DOJ documents related to Jeffrey Epstein because they were believed to be duplicative in other documents. Yeah, if this is so crazy, it's like Epstein files are still coming out. Wow, who would have guessed that they're not done yet, that there's just going to keep being more and more and more, even ones that could potentially make Trump look bad. Trump's DOJ is releasing. Biden's DOJ didn't release any. We've got 3,300,000 and nobody's looked through all of them, but we're still complaining that he's not doing enough, but more and more are coming out. Even ones like this that make him look bad. So they're saying these are new investigations and statements that are being released. The reason they didn't release them in the first time is because they're already there. We've already seen all this. It's nothing new. But when they release this headline, people are like, oh my God, there's another victim. No, we already knew about this. It's on YouTube. It's been on YouTube for 10 years. What we found through extensive review is that a published 302 additionally disclosed in a published spreadsheet has subsequent 302s that were coded as duplicative. After this was brought to our attention, we reviewed the entire batch with similar coding and discovered 15 documents were incorrectly coded as duplicative. So there is some new stuff here, but now I'm not sure if this is the Katie Johnson thing. I'm just using that as another example of some bullshit that we've had forever, that people are now talking about again like it's a fact. Katie Johnson is a fact, even though we've known for 11 years that this was a hoax. In her second interview with federal investigators, she claimed that Epstein once took her to either New York or New Jersey. She doesn't remember. Where she was introduced to Trump when she was between the ages of 13 and 15, according to the report. She claimed Trump abused her during that trip. I'm pretty sure this is the Katie Johnson stuff because that's what this lady says.
I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein.
You were working at parties when you were 13?
There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump.
So I'm pretty sure it doesn't say any names in this article. As far as I know, this is rapid fire, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'm pretty sure this is this case. This is the Katie Johnson case, which you can look into it for 30 seconds and figure out that it's all been debunked for 11 years. Even if you listen to this testimony, this is from 2016. If you listen to this testimony, it doesn't make any sense. I don't have time to play the whole thing right now, but maybe we'll listen to it on a stream at another time. And people, if anybody brings up Kate, Andrew was debating that one dumb chick, and she brought up Katie Johnson. Andrew's like, what's the name? Name one victim. Can you even name one victim other than Virginia Giuffre? The girl said Katie Johnson. And Andrew didn't jump on it. He should have jumped on that and said, that story is a heaping pile of bullshit, and we've known that for 11 years. Crazy. But people are bringing it up again now in debates and stuff. And I guarantee you they haven't listened to this deposition. I've listened to it like 3 times. The stuff she says doesn't make any sense. Because it's fake. Her name's not even Katie Johnson. It's a fake name. She's going off a memory of a script that was written for her. and she screws it up multiple times. That's why the DOJ investigated this in 2016 and said, there's nothing here. This is totally fake. People are crazy. Are you smarter than Donald Trump? They savor the answers. Anyway, moving on. This is related to the government shutdown, the partial government shutdown. We have airports, problems at airports again. Here's just one example. New Orleans airport seeing long lines and delays due to partial government shutdown. Let me see if I can just play this. Probably going to be an ad.
I'm Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple. Did you know there are ways you
I
can
can't
save
mute.
hundreds or thousands?
I want to mute the ad. Okay, here we go.
At MSY, flyers in New Orleans have had to navigate extremely long lines today, and they could for the rest of the week, too. It is an impact, they say, of the partial government shutdown. WDSU reporter Jasmine Franklin is live at the airport for us. So, Jasmine, how are things looking there tonight?
Yeah,
Empty?
Elizabeth, MSY.
It looks absolutely empty. Wait. I thought this story was covering the long lines and the craziness at the airport. There's not a single person in that airport.
I was packed with travelers all day long as many people
Oh, I was wrong. There's a security guard and a janitor.
were experiencing delays at the TSA checkpoint. But right now you can see a very different scene compared to
Right. so much for our bottom quarter our bottom corner headline right here. Mayhem at the airport. Meanwhile, there's nobody there.
earlier today. It is completely empty here as most flights have already departed for the night, but those delays earlier left many travelers frustrated.
Well, show us the video from earlier because this does not work.
And in line for a long time.
Here we go.
And then I walked over here and my jaw dropped.
Travelers were shocked to see massive TSA lines span across
That is crazy, though. That's a long-ass line.
Armstrong International Airport. Countless.
I just thought it was funny that it said mayhem at the airport, and the reporter's there, and it's totally empty. Should have started with the video.
People were in the long line that spanned from the parking garage around the airline check-in area and ended on
From the parking garage? That's crazy. Where is this? New Orleans?
The second level.
I had to weave through a bunch of lines that was actually just one line.
Oh my God, I should never have to wait in a line. My name is Karen.
For the security that wove all around, and it was, where does it start? And they're like, in the garage.
According to airport leaders, it's an impact from the partial government shutdown. On Sunday, they experienced a shortage of TSA workers, causing major delays through the security checkpoint.
Yeah, it's just, this is ridiculous. This is crazy.
The long wait times caused many travelers to miss their flights.
We get here, we go through customs, and it's so packed in here, you can't even find the direction they're trying to give.
No one wants to stand in this line for over an hour. So,
I mean, I've flown in and out of New Orleans a lot, and it's, a big hub. So I'm like, they have the TSA on lock. It's never been like this.
While TSA workers tried to keep the lines moving, the delays altered travel plans for a lot of people.
I mean, we're completely in shock. Obviously, huge respect for the TSA workers that are here doing their jobs and making sure that people are able to get where they need to go.
And tonight, airport.
That's wild. That is a long line, boy. Anyway, what else? Okay, now this should have been in main story news relating to the Iran stuff, but I'm saving it till the end. I gotta be careful about showing this video. I mean, I don't even know if I can show it. We'll play her talking about this, but this is kind of a crazy story. So there were protests. Jake Lang was there. According to Fuentes and Sneeko, now this may just be a hit piece campaign that they're doing, but they say Jake Lang is actually Jewish and he's not Christian. That he's a Jewish operative, controlled opposition or whatever. I don't know how they got that information, so I'm not saying I know that. I'm just saying that's what they said. They said Jake Lang is a Jewish op. He says he's a Christian. He does these crazy things. He's walking through New York City with a goat. He did a pig roast in front of Zohran Mamdani's house. He throws bacon at mosques and stuff. He's the guy that got jumped in the big crowd. He goes to the ice things and pours ice on the ground, and he's done. He's thrown up Roman salutes and stuff. Was at January 6th. Agitator, probably some sort of controlled. I don't know if he's controlled opposition to the left, I guess. He's some sort of industry plant, some sort of operative, because he's just blown up out of nowhere, and he organizes people so rapidly, which is very similar to what Antifa is able to do. But he had no internet presence, and he just popped up out of nowhere. Seems very suspicious, little suspect. But anyway, he was in New York, and these two kids, which actually, do I have it on X? These two young terrorist boys threw some homemade explosives into the crowd and at Zohran Mamdani's house, nail bombs. Neither of them exploded. So these idiots couldn't even do that right. They couldn't even make a working explosive. And they're arrested, and they're being charged with federal terrorist crimes. While the one is doing the perp walk, he throws up a hand gesture to the cameras, and the cop is trying to cover it with his folder, but he's throwing up a hand gesture. I don't want to do it because I don't know. But it's supposed to be like the gang sign for ISIS. It's supposed to be the ISIS symbol, and he throws it up, and he's like smiling. Dude, you failed. You're not getting your virgins. Hopefully, to make an example out of them, they get executed as terrorists. But you didn't even succeed in your mission, buddy. You don't get your virgins. So, improvised explosive devices thrown near New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani's residence during weekend protests are being investigated as part of an act of ISIS-inspired terrorism. Ibrahim Kounyami, 19 years old, and Emir Balat, 18, face federal charges in connection with the incident Saturday. Both were charged with unlawfully possessing and using a weapon of mass destruction, transporting explosives, and attempting to aid a designated foreign terrorist organization, according to federal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for Southern New York. They have been charged with committing a heinous act of terrorism and proclaiming their allegiance to ISIS. So, now, is that treason if they're American citizens and they do that? That's terrorism. That's recipe for long. Man, I know the Bible has no gang signs in it. Does their book have them? Yeah, I don't know if that's the thing from the Quran or it's just, I don't think it's a thing in the Quran. I think it's just something they made up with. But it's basically like he's holding up one finger and he's like bouncing it. And they say that that's the ISIS hand gesture while he's doing the perp walk. I could probably show you that. I don't know if I can show you this video. There's video and pictures of them lighting the bombs. Somebody caught it on camera while they're lighting the fuse. And then they throw them and they run. The cops tackle them. They have still shots of the kid with the explosive in his hand. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube, so I'm not going to try. But I can play this. Unless this is NBC News.
If we can,
person
New
in
York
the
City
crowd asked
police
why
chief.
he had done this. As shown on NYPD body-worn camera footage referenced in the complaint, Kayumi responded with ISIS. And at the precinct, after being advised of his Miranda rights and waiving those rights, Kayumi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS. The complaint also details statements made by Amir Balat after his arrest. En route to the NYPD precinct, Balat made spontaneous statements without being questioned by NYPD officers that were captured on body-worn camera footage. He said, "This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action, as well as, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it." And later, after waiving his rights, he requested paper and wrote a message declaring in part, "I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you kuffar." Now, "die in your rage" is a commonly known ISIS slogan, and kuffar is an Arabic term that refers to non-believers. He also told investigators that he had hoped to carry out an attack even bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing, which he noted resulted in only 3 deaths. These statements,
Well, yours resulted in 0 deaths, dumbass. Your thing didn't even work.
as set forth in the complaint, make clear that this was not random violence. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a
She's got the Star of David on her necklace.
violent foreign terrorist organization. The complaint alleges not only why the defendants acted, but how. Preliminary testing has determined that one of the devices contained triacetone triperoxide, or TATP, also commonly referred to as Mother of Satan, a highly volatile explosive that has been used in
Mother of Satan? Damn. Now see, and there's another thing that Fuentes and Sneeko got wrong. They said they were nail bombs. I don't know about that.
multiple terrorist attacks over the last decade. As we have previously discussed, the NYPD identified a vehicle yesterday on East End Avenue that was linked to the defendants. Inside that vehicle, investigators recovered handwritten notes referencing TATP explosive and listing chemical ingredients for the type of explosive device used by the defendants on Saturday. Make no mistake, what happened this weekend was incredibly dangerous, and the ongoing investigation will be exhaustive. From the first moment
See, that's a picture of it.
to that investigation, the
See, I don't even know if I can show pictures of that. Yeah, they're playing video and stuff. So there's the kid. This is him throwing up the hand gesture. See, he's walking out.
Why'd you throw the bomb?
Gracie Mansion bomber flashes ISIS salute while being led in shackles from precinct. See how the agent is trying to cover up his hand with the folder?
Why'd you throw it?
And there's courtroom artist drawings and stuff. So this is News Nation. This is the video that I can't show. I don't want to try. But it's, dude, they caught everything on camera. They catch him lighting it, throwing it. The cops tackle him. But I don't want to risk showing that on camera. What up, news anchor lady? So, anyway, that's it for the rapid fire news. I got one little last thing for you guys. One last little bit here. I'm going to defend daylight savings time. Daylight savings time happened this weekend. A lot of people don't like it. Every year, twice a year, I hear people complaining, whining and moaning. Oh, we need to get rid of daylight savings time. I hate daylight savings time, man. Why do the clocks change? They get all bent out of shape. Listen, you don't even got to turn your clocks back anymore. They do it automatically on all your digital devices. Maybe your oven. My oven is just always wrong about the time half of the year. Half of the year, my oven is an hour off. But then the other half of the year, it's on point. That's the only clock that I would need to change, and I never change it. So I just have to remember that it's an hour off sometimes. But everybody complains about daylight saving time. I say we're gonna look at both of the arguments. I did this segment like 3 years ago, but then I haven't done it again since then. So we're gonna go back. This is a little blast from the past. We're gonna cover this again. I'm gonna show you why. It's only like it comes from university liberals, places like the Hill, commies, who push this narrative that daylight savings time is a bad thing. And then they'll say the farmers are against it. The farmers protest it. That's not even true. Farmers don't care. They get up at the same time every day regardless, and it's always dark. So they're not worried about the hour difference. They get up when the rooster crows. Or before the rooster crows. They get up before the rooster crows. So it's always dark. The rooster crows when the sun rises. So it starts crowing a little bit before the sun rises. They're up before the rooster crows. They don't really care about daylight savings time. This is propaganda. This is a commie lie. Daylight savings time is capitalist to the extreme. We save money on energy. People shop more. You get more time to shop. You get daylight saving time to go shopping. It's for commerce. And I am pro daylight saving time. But I'm going to give you both the arguments for both sides. We're going to look at the pros and cons, the debate about daylight saving time. But I titled this segment, Daylight Saving Time is Based. So I'm biased. I'm biased in favor of daylight saving time. So what are the benefits? Reduced crime rates. Nice. Increased consumer spending in retail and leisure sectors. Increase improving traffic safety due to better visibility, street lights, energy consumption. The amount we save 0.3% on energy. We spend more money on commerce. Crime is reduced. What are the arguments against daylight saving time? It messes with your circadian rhythm and you get sick. Oh, but all those cell phones and screens and blue lights that you stare at all day, that doesn't do anything to your circadian rhythm. People who stay up all night long, like myself, and just stare at computer screens and cell phones all the time, can't be complaining about circadian rhythms. Your circadian rhythm's totally destroyed. What do you mean? You're going to talk about daylight saving time is bad for your health because of your circadian rhythm? That's not a good argument. We've all destroyed our circadian rhythms already. JS enjoys shopping for handbags. Yes! Preaching to the choir. So why switch back? Just keep it that way all the time. Because of the way the earth is shaped. If you're farther from the equator and you're on a curved part of the earth, the Tropic of, I forget which one it is. Either if you're the farther you get from the equator, either way, times are different. And then the way the earth tilts on its axis as we're rotating around the sun, this won't apply to flat earthers. You're not going to believe what I'm saying right now. But over time, the daylight is different. So that's why we switch it back and forth, because the way we're tilted and the way we're rotating and our location relative to the sun and the equator changes what time it gets morning. You can watch it happening. Like right now, it's dark when I leave work and it's going to be light outside. Like I go to work at 10. Sometimes at 10, it might still even 9 o'clock. Like it's probably just now getting dark outside. But in a year from now, not a year from now, in half a year from now, it's going to be, it slowly changes. And then we fix the clocks and then it slowly changes back the other way. And then we fix the clocks. That's why we go back and forth. If we never if we never made the clocks change, then there would just be half of the year where the sun was different, where it'd be light all year, or the world rotates, bruh. So half the year it would be light at the wrong time of day. That's why we adjust the clock, to adjust for the way the earth rotates. Cancer and Capricorn. Yeah, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. If you're in those, then this idea of switching clocks each year is fairly new. It's I think from the 70s. Let's see. Increased safety. Robbery rates fall by an average of 51% during the hour of sunset in the spring, as criminals are less likely to act in daylight. Additionally, increasing evening light reduces traffic accidents. Retail, tourism, hospitality industries often see higher revenue, as longer daylight encourages people to shop, dine out, and participate in recreational activities after work. For example, the golf industry reported a potential $200 to $400 million boost from 1 month of extra daylight. Longer evenings promote healthier lifestyles and provide more time for exercise, such as walking, jogging, or playing. Energy conservation. While modern, this is debated. The original purpose was to reduce the need for evening artificial lighting. Yes, it was street lamps. It's the hours that we have street lamps lit. Psychological benefits. Extended daylight in the evening can improve mood and mental health for many individuals. This is why we keep the clocks changing, so that we have more daylight in our day. Otherwise, half the year, our regular work day, our 9 to 5, or our 7 to 3, or our 8 to 4 workers, half their day it would be dark. If we alter the clocks, you get more time in your day. Because the other option, what they would have to do, if we wanted to get rid of daylight savings time, but you still wanted people to get all the hours of daylight in their day available to them to do stuff after they get off work, you would have to change people's work schedule twice a year. So half the year you work 7 to 3. The other half of the year you work 8 to 4. Because the way the earth rotates and the way the light works, if you want to give people some time after they get off work, the average job is going to be 9 to 5, 7 to 3, 8 to 4. And you want people to have time after they get off work to go shopping, to do fun stuff with their family, to go on walks, to go to the gym while it's daylight outside. If we keep the clocks the same, you would have to change their work schedule halfway through the year. So which would you rather do? Logistically, what's easier to do? Is it easier for every company to change the hours of all its employees twice a year? Or is it easier to just set the clocks back and set the clocks forward? Duh. But I'll give you some of the arguments against it too. Daylight saving time, economic expert explains the risks and benefits. It's about time to fall back. That is, set our clocks. This is legislative efforts to end the time change have stalled or been reversed. On the other hand, the period of daylight saving has occasionally been extended, most recently in 2005. Virginia Tech economic expert Jadrian Wooten discusses why the retail industries want to keep daylight saving time, the problem associated with it, and at least one justification for leaving it be. The retail industry still seems to be the biggest advocate for daylight saving time. They argue that extended evening, so capitalism, making some money. They argue that extended evening daylight encourages people to shop after work and boosts foot traffic. These benefits may not be as significant as they once were with the increases in online shopping. True. Extended daylight hours may not drive the same level of spending as they did in the past. And this is so they'll say we're not getting the economic boost that we were getting because people are just shopping online now. So we need to get rid of daylight saving time. Also, it hurts your circadian rhythm. Meanwhile, they're all shopping online, hurting their circadian rhythm with the blue light coming from their computer screen, which damages your your circadian rhythm more than going to bed at an hour different time twice a year. What's going to screw up your health more is shopping online for everything in front of a computer and not leaving your house. That's going to hurt your health more than the clock changing twice a year. Bad argument. Studies suggest that the energy saving benefit of daylight saving time is just a fraction of a percent. Is that even worth the effort involved? Given the disruptions to sleep patterns, health concerns, and even traffic accidents that come with the time change, so there's people arguing that the time change leads to more traffic accident, and then there's people arguing that the time change leads to less accidents. So we're going to try to find the truth here. Many would argue that the energy savings simply aren't enough to justify it anymore. People generally largely vote in favor of not changing clocks. That's just because people love to complain. They would complain if we stopped changing the clocks, they'd complain that they never have any time to go shopping and hang out with their family because it's always dark when they get off work half the year. They're still going to complain about something. People just love to complain. What are some of the most egregious unintended consequences of daylight saving time? Many people would point to health risks, heart attacks, strokes, and even workplace accidents as the most serious. But these are often concentrated among older people who are more likely to have all those things anyway, at risk for those health issues to begin with. You see similar increased health risks around major holidays, but no one argues we should ban those. I'd argue that the spike in car accident is particularly troubling since it's an increased risk for everyone on and near the road. Can there be an economic justification for daylight saving time in 2024? I'd argue that the most compelling economic justification may actually lie in its mental health benefits from maintaining more average sunrise and sunset times across the year. These benefits are less obvious than traditional metrics like spending, but they're significant. Right. Daylight savings time means sunset's going to be around 8 o'clock all year. Well, depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be different. But for me, sunset's always around 8 o'clock. And then throughout the year, it gets farther and farther and farther. Then we switch the clock and it's back to 8 o'clock. Then it gets farther and farther and farther and we switch the clock and it's back to 8 o'clock. So on average, the whole year, the sun sets around 8 o'clock. If we didn't have daylight savings time, half the year it would set at 8 o'clock and half the year it would set at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I forget which way it would go. Jadrian Wooden is a collegiate associate professor, blah, blah, blah. These are just his credentials. Studies suggest, this is from Stanford Medicine. So I'll show you how it's mainly these liberal medical centers. I don't like doctors. I don't like medicine. I don't like none of this. So if they're arguing to get rid of it, I think it's probably BS. The switch is what messes people up so bad. I know. But if we didn't switch, guess what? The world switches. It just happens naturally. It happens anyway. The only difference would be the time would still be the same. But your sunset would be a different time. So people would still complain about that. People are always going to complain. But so I have John Hopkins and Stanford Medicine both saying medically why daylight saving time is bad. According to new analysis by Stanford Medicine scientists, changing clocks twice a year disrupts circadian rhythms, leading to higher rates of stroke and obesity. You know what else disrupts circadian rhythms? Not going outside and sitting in front of your computer all day. That's going to increase your risk of eating garbage food and staring at a screen all the time, which I do it too. So my circadian rhythm's all jacked up. I work nights. I work overnights and I sleep during the day. So everybody's circadian rhythm is screwed up anyway. That has nothing to do with daylight savings time. That has to do with screen time. Screen time and garbage food and people not living healthy lifestyles. That's what it is. Working from home, sitting in front of a computer all day, and you never go outside. You do all your shopping online. This has nothing to do with daylight savings time. This correlate is not causative. Every spring, Americans dutifully adjust their clocks forward to daylight saving time, and every fall back to standard time, but no one seems very happy about it. The biannual time shift is not only inconvenient, it's also known to be acutely bad for our health. Acutely. The collective loss of an hour of sleep on the second Sunday in March has been linked to more heart attacks and fatal traffic accidents in the ensuing days. So I guess it's because the first couple of days after the clock shifts, people are sleepy. So maybe there's more deaths from people falling asleep at the wheel because they lost an hour of sleep. Now, a study in Stanford Medicine, researchers find there are longer-term hazards as well and better alternatives. The researchers compared how 3 different time policies, permanent standard time, permanent daylight saving time, and biannual shifting, could affect people's circadian rhythms and in turn their health throughout the country. Circadian rhythm is the body's innate, roughly 24-hour clock, which regulates many physiological processes. Now remember, this is a medical journal. This is Stanford Medicine. These are not geographers, you know? So when they make this recommendation, like we should just keep the clocks the same, I don't know if they realize that in different places in the country, time looks different. There's a reason Arizona can get away with not having daylight savings time. It's because they're closer to the equator. If you get farther from the equator, you need it more because the change is more drastic every year. The term found that from a circadian perspective, we've made the worst choice. Either permanent standard time or permanent daylight saving time would be healthier. There's no such thing as permanent daylight saving time because half the year, it's not going to be daylight at that time. That's why it's called daylight saving time. We jump forward to get the extra hour of daylight on our clocks because of when the sun is setting. If it was permanent daylight saving time, then half the year, an hour of daylight saving time would not be daylight saving time. It would be nighttime. It's crazy. Indeed, by modeling light exposure, circadian impacts, and health characteristics county by county, the researchers estimated that permanent standard time would result in some 300,000 fewer people have suffered from stroke and result in 2.6 million fewer people having obesity. Shut up. Shut up. Not changing the clock is going to save 2.6 million fat asses. We have peptides now. We have Ozempic. This is crazy. How do they figure? Permanent daylight saving time would achieve about 2/3 the same effect. We found that staying in standard time or staying in daylight saving time is definitely better than switching twice a year. How do you examine this? What do? You go to a place that has permanent daylight saving or a place that has permanent standard time like Arizona. And then you monitor the people there, and then you compare that to people in like North Dakota who changed the clocks, and you see a difference, but you don't know that doing the same thing Arizona does in Alaska is going to have the same effect. I don't even think Alaska's so far north. Once you get far enough north, if you're not in the prime meridian or the Tropic of Cancer, or the Tropic of Capricorn, if you're far north, far south, or in the middle, you don't have to do daylight saving time. It's just the way the world works. So how can you do a controlled study of this if you're looking at a place that has permanent daylight saving time in a different on a different equatorial line? Then how can you compare that to what it's going to be like in Utah? Doesn't even make sense. And right here, it says it. A theory lacking data. Even among people who want to end seasonal time shifts, there's disagreement over which time policy to adopt. You have people who are passionate on both sides, and they have very different arguments. Nevertheless, the duration of daylight saving time was later increased from 6 months to 7 months, and since 2018, a bill proposing permanent daylight saving time has been introduced in Congress nearly every year, though it has never passed. And they're lacking data. Of course they are. The human circadian cycle is not exactly 24 hours. For most people, it's about 12 minutes longer, but it can be modulated by light. When you get light in the morning, it speeds up the circadian cycle. When you get light in the evening, it slows things down. You generally need more morning light and less evening light to keep you well synchronized to a 24-hour day. An out-of-sync circadian cycle has been associated with a range of poor health outcomes. The more light exposure you get at the wrong times, the weaker the circadian clock. Are they going to mention blue light? All of these things that are downstream, for example, your immune system, your energy, don't match up quite as well. See, they don't even mention the blue light and the fact that people are staring at phones and computer screens all day. That's doing way more damage to circadian rhythms than daylight saving time. What's John Hopkins saying? 7 things to know about daylight saving time from John Hopkins. Making the shift can increase your health risks. DST was enacted to conserve energy, but today it may do the opposite. Benjamin Franklin invented the concept in 1784, believing that rising earlier, so it's not that new. It's about as daylight saving time is about as old as America. From one of the founding fathers, the guy on the $100 bill. I'm not a huge Ben Franklin fan, but as far as science and stuff goes, he was pretty good at inventing and science and stuff like this. Farmer's Almanac. But as far as politics and his religion and his faith, he's a Rosicrucian. Not a fan of that stuff. But I'll take his word when it comes to sciencey stuff. Rising earlier would economize candle usage and save people money. Pushing clocks forward to make greater use of daylight during the warmer months was formally adopted during World War I as part of a global attempt to conserve energy. That rationale is part of what keeps daylight saving time in practice, but the theory is wobbly, like the world, according to research, like this 2017 paper published in the International Association for Energy Economics Journal. As society has evolved, lighting accounts for less overall energy consumption. Rather, extending the use of daylight hours encourages people to use more air conditioning and heating. Other proponents say the additional daylight in the evening hours during spring and summer are beneficial to the mental health of those who work during the day. That too has been refuted. Data from 2020 study published by PLLS suggests that the change exacerbates mood disorders, depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. And see, I think the problem here, they're saying that we're still seeing health problems even with daylight savings time in 2020. I don't think that has anything to do with daylight saving time. I think it has to do with the food we eat, the time we sit in front of screens, the sedentary lifestyle of like not going outside. People just don't go outside. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to, you can just order everything. You can order your Uber Eats. You can eat your garbage. You can stare at a computer screen all the time. You're working from home. You never leave your house. You're just in front of a screen all the time. Might as well be living in pods, eating cricket bars. And that's why we're seeing health problems. It's not because of daylight saving time. More after work sunshine doesn't necessarily mean a healthier you. Sunlight is the most powerful synchronizer of our circadian rhythms, internally generated clocks that bodies follow. Spear says while it's advantageous to have more time for outdoor activities in the evening, exposure to more light closer to bedtime makes it harder to fall asleep at our usual bedtime and can reduce the amount of sleep we're able to get each night. No, laying in bed doom scrolling on your cell phone is what screws up your sleep, not going out for a jog as the sun sets. Like, crazy. Less sleep means more health risks. For certain groups, these time changes have greater negative. Oh, it's going to tell us how daylight saving time is racist now. I've heard this argument that the clock's changing is racist because more black people have blood and heart problems and they blame daylight saving time. Racist daylight saving time. Populations living on the western edge of time zones who get light later in the morning and evening, and people with little control over their schedules, such as shift workers who drive to work very early, are more at risk for misalignment. Adolescents who get less sleep often have behavioral learning and attention issues, as well as an increased risk of accidents, injuries, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, mental health problems. 2015 study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that during school days, after the time change, students were sleepier, had slower reaction times, and were less attentive. Well, yeah, they're readjusting. That would still happen. That would still happen even if the clocks didn't change. Doom scrolling is the worst. The clock at my office was not changed, and I thought the secretary was going to be around for another hour. She was like, nope, I'm off in 15 minutes. Well, should have changed your clock. Why don't you just get a digital clock? Who still uses clocks? A lot of kids can't even read a standard clock anymore. So that's John Hopkins. What's Encyclopedia Britannica saying? Yep, Benjamin Franklin, 1784. Implemented in March 31st, 1918 as a temporary wartime effort to save coal and oil used for heating and lighting homes and businesses, repealed nationwide in 1919. Some individual localities, such as New York City, maintained the biannual time change in what Time magazine called a chaos of clocks until 1966, when the Uniform Time Act made the twice-yearly time change consistent nationwide. But it's not, because I think there's a couple states that don't change the times. I know Arizona is one of them. Maybe Nevada? What states don't change clocks? Hawaii and Arizona. Most of Arizona, not all of Arizona. Arizona, due to extreme heat, the state opted out in 1968 as more evening daylight would increase energy consumption. Hawaii, due to its proximity to the equator, the state has consistent daylight hours year-round, making daylight saving time unnecessary. See? If you're close to the equator, you don't need daylight saving time. It's due to the shape of the Earth and how we rotate around the sun and tilt on our axis. That's why we do it. In the U.S., 48 states participate in daylight saving time. Daylight saving time, called summertime, was observed in just 60 countries and jurisdictions in 2026, while 173 do not participate in the time change. Like the United States, some countries have a patchwork of observance. Australia, Canada, Chile, France, Greenland, among others. 2020 poll found that 40% of Americans wanted to stay in standard time all year. 31% preferred to stay in daylight saving time all year. That's 71% of Americans who are a little bit retarded, because what they don't get is that it's not going to, it's still going to, the time is still going to, the sunlight and what time you feel like it is still going to change. The reason we change the clocks is to address that issue. Otherwise, I've already explained it. I'm not going to say it again. You're going to pick one or the other. You're still going to have the same problem. People, 71% of Americans just like to complain about stuff. What time is it? 43. Why daylight saving time ending might be better for your health, from Far Left the Hill. And this is why I think this is a leftist, medicine-brained, communist, anti-capitalist narrative. And I think you should stop it. Stop it. Daylight saving time is based. It's good. We need it. Keep it. Not year-round. I mean the clock switching. The clock switching is good. It's based. Needs to happen. If we didn't, people would still be bitching. 71% of the country would still complain that we need to go back to switching the clocks. Within 2 years of making one of them permanent, 71% of the country would be complaining and whining. And then they'd say, let's go back to switching the clocks. This sucks. Half the year I wake up at 7 a.m. and it's bright outside. Half the year I wake up at 7 a.m. and it's dark outside. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like it. It's almost like the clocks should change or something so that the sun always rises and sets around the same time. Oh, you mean like what we were doing and then like what you were crying about 5 years ago? That's what would happen. I guarantee it.
The clocks sprung
Let's watch this and then I got to head out.
forward by an hour overnight in most of the country for the start of daylight saving time.
And
The
people are
change is meant to
crying
provide
about it.
more daylight hours during the evening in the spring and summer. Most provinces and territories follow daylight saving time, with the exception of Yukon, most of Saskatchewan, and some parts of Ontario, Quebec, and Nunavut. British Columbia recently
Is this Canadian news? This is Canadian news.
passed legislation to move to permanent daylight saving time. Several studies have linked the seasonal time changes to a higher risk of negative health effects. And joining us now is Dr. Karen Johnson, Medical Director of the Bay State.
Karen Johnson, isn't that the Transformer? Is that Karen Johnson? Wasn't she Biden's health director? But this is in Canada. That's a man.
It's a man, baby.
I don't know if that's her. Dr. Karen Johnson. There is no information that she's okay. So I'm thinking of a different person.
Health Regional Sleep Program. Dr. Johnson, welcome and thank you for being here. So for those of us who lost an hour of sleep.
Now, this liberal doctor lady is going to tell us why it's bad for our health to change the clocks so that we have the sunset around the same time year round. Please explain it to us. Give Americans and Canadians a reason to complain and whine and moan.
Sleep last night. What health and safety impacts should we be watching out for?
Yeah, it's, important to know that there are effects, especially after this springtime change. We see more heart attacks.
How can you say that after everything I just said, Seahawk Daddy? Are you a leftist commie doctor?
More strokes, more car crashes, but there's actually harms throughout the daylight savings time.
This is not reputable. What did I just do? How did I just change that? This is not reputable medical sources. Even John Hopkins said we don't even really have data to show this. Their data, there's no way they could actually do the science on this because they can't have a control group. There's competing arguments about traffic, about health, and there's other more causative correlates to explain why obesity and heart attacks and strokes and blood problems are going up. They have nothing to do with daylight saving time. The reputable science even says we actually don't know about this. Our data is not very good. But here's what our studies say. And then you have liberals, commies, who just mad at the world, complaining about it. I'm showing you why this is wrong, not why you should agree with it. You damn commie.
Time period as well on similar outcomes.
We agree to disagree. No, we don't. I've never agreed to disagree. There's no such thing as disagreements. One of us is just less informed. And you're the less informed one. I'm showing you. Look at this lady. You're going to listen to this Canadian doctor lady? Guarantee you she's a leftist.
All throughout daylight saving time. That is very interesting to think about.
Oh, so you are a commie. If you're authoritarian left, you are a commie. Okay, well, that's fine.
One reason is because the province of BC here in Canada just recently sprung forward for a final time today. It's funny because one expert that I was speaking with last week says the province might regret that when it comes to winter.
Of course they will. Because people just have to complain. See, they're already saying, okay, we're doing a permanent time change. Watch. In 2 years, they're going to be saying, why aren't we changing the time anymore? This sucks.
What are your thoughts on permanent daylight saving time?
Yeah, essentially, history has shown that it doesn't work. United States tried it twice before. Other countries like Russia tried it before, and eventually it's been abandoned. It's really harmful for us to lose morning light, and that's what we do especially.
Oh, so this lady's actually saying we do need to change the clocks. I was wrong. Maybe this lady's based. I don't know. It's Canadian. I don't care.
In the winter. So British Columbia is going to be seeing sunrises at 9 to 9:30 in the morning in the winter months. And we lose that critical morning light that we need.
Yes, the morning sunlight is important. That means half the year you're going to be driving to work with the sun rising, looking at a beautiful sunrise as you drive to work. The other half of the year, it's going to be pitch dark when you go to work. If only we could change the clocks and then have sunrise while I'm driving to work all year. That's why we changed the times.
Need to set our circadian rhythms that are important for helping us sleep well, helping us perform well during the day, and improve things like productivity and health, and especially.
What is a WSPQ? Where do you world's smallest political quiz? I don't know. I haven't taken that. I took the Heritage Foundation Political Compass test on stream, and I scored right where I thought I would score. Actually, I scored conservative, basically. But I'm actually more extreme to the right and to the north. I would be a Christian theocrat. But due to the way the questions were worded and optics on the stream, I answered some things a little less radically than I wanted to answer them. Just the way that they present the questions, it's kind of like there's some nuance here. I would actually be a little more radical than this, but I can't pick that option because that's too radical. So I picked the less radical one, but I'm a little more, but not as bad as the other option they had. So I would actually be a little farther right and a little more authoritarian than your average conservative. I said I would put myself right here, and it's Christian theocrat. And they put me right here, which is conservative, which is fine.
Mental health.
Is there anything that people can do to sort of mitigate these effects?
Yeah, the most important thing is getting.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. It's from the Heritage Foundation, which is libertarian think tank. Yeah, I took that test on the stream, said I'm a conservative.
That morning light, and so especially in the winter months, getting light first thing in the morning to help you get going. As you get into the summer months with really late sunsets, it's actually important to not get too much bright light at night to keep on track. And this is going to be especially important for our teenagers who have a real sensitivity to wanting to stay up later and sleep in later.
I have heard so many reasons over the years for why we observe the time change. Everything from farmers to nobody knows to some etymologist wanted more daylight.
She just explained why we do it. Holy crap. It's not complicated. I guess it's a little bit complicated, especially if you think the world's flat. It won't make any sense to you.
Time to catch bugs.
Granted, if you think the world's flat, probably nothing makes any sense to you.
Do you know, can you tell us possibly the reason why we observe this time change?
A lot of myths out there, but essentially it's been a bunch of businessmen and golfers that have pushed to get, the light shifted from the morning to the afternoon. People do shop more, people drive more, so the oil business benefits.
Capitalism, baby. That's why we changed the clocks. Capitalism.
Benefits from it. There is more time to play golf after work, so that's been one of the biggest lobbies
More time to play golf? That's reason enough right there.
that have pushed for it. But this is all at the back of health, mental health, academic performance, safety on our roads. It's really, focusing on wealth over health with permanent daylight savings time.
All right.
It's not more accidents, though. I showed you there's no data. There's not good data on that. There's data that says that there's actually less accidents because we changed the clocks. And then there's data that says there's more accidents because we changed the clocks. The data is not conclusive. So you just got to throw that argument out.
That's our time. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Johnson, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
I think tax.
All right. Look at this paddleball lady. All right, guys. I got to go to work. It's getting dark outside because of daylight saving time. It would be already dark, but it's just now getting dark, which means I got to go to work. So I'm going to head out, go screw up my circadian rhythm a little more by staying up all night as usual. Congrats on number 200. Thank you, sir. 200 more. 200 more. Also, well, no, it's like 16 weeks. I think 216 will be the 4-year mark. So that's 4 months from now. 4 months from now, we'll be at 4 years, but we're past 3.5 years. So, and still only 10 to 20 viewers. I don't know, man. Whatever. I ain't got nothing better to do. I do it for the love of the game. Do it for the love of the game. Somebody needs to send a $200 super chat. Thank you guys for hanging out. God bless you. The world is a crazy place. I just report on it. Let me see if I can raid somebody. Dude, Easy's got some good debates set up. He's got Andrew and that other goofy guy, and then that other goofy guy and another guy. Oh, Eli Nix. Let's see who's live. Rob's live. Raging Tomato. Aiden Underground, Fabian Liberty, Indian Jesus, Thorpe Tube, Pep Talks. I got more lefties live right now. And atheists that I could take you to. We'll go to Rob. He's the only based one. New York Attack, war updates, and more. Oh, he's talking about the same thing I was talking about, so that'll be a good raid for you guys to go over to Rob. But thank you guys for hanging out. They changed clocks for no good reason. This dude didn't listen to everything I've talked about for the last 45 minutes. This is crazy. You're triggering me right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know what's diabolical is you saying that right as I'm about to sign off. He didn't listen to a word I just said for the past 45 minutes. I'm so pissed right now. I'm getting out of here, guys. God bless. Thank you. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. Monday night, kick of the week off. Dreadedconservative show. Monday nights every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Even when the times change, it's still 8 p.m. Eastern time. So go say hi to Rob. Put some chairs in his chat. I'm out, guys. Peace.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education.
Doses.